Good morning, beautiful people. How are you today? Today's topic is going to be about the law of attraction and how the universe always has your back. If you have not read the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, I highly recommend it. It is a really great book that I read a couple of years ago when I was at a very low point in my life. And a client of mine had recommended it, and I didn't read it until about 3 months later. And it was so impactful for me that I actually got it on Audible and listened to it 4 times that year. So if you're looking for some inspiration or how to get more into the law of attraction, you can maybe check that book out, or there's lots of others as well. So I want to tell a story, a personal story, about the last couple days and how I was reminded that the universe always has my back. And it started a couple of days ago when I did a session for a very dear friend of mine who I've been friends with for close to 20 years. And she lives out of state. And she reached out to me and she was like, I would like a session. And we did a session and it was very impactful. It was really cool, all the things that came through. And afterwards, she wanted to know how much I charged for a session. And I wanted to gift her something because I really felt like she was going through a lot with her family at the moment. They're going through COVID and just kind of felt like some crazy energy, and I wanted to gift her something. But she wanted to give me something in return, which I totally respect because it's like the exchange of energy you give to receive. And so I told her that she could send me, whatever she wanted, that any little gift of the universe was a little bit of extra abundance and that I would greatly appreciate it. And that was my way of practicing receiving. And she actually sent me double of what I charge. And that was kind of hard for me to take in for a minute because instantly I wanted to give it back. And I told her that, it was too much. And she told me, no, it was worth every penny and that she really appreciated this session. And so I graciously accepted. And, because I'm trying to be more about receiving, allowing myself to receive love, allowing myself to receive abundance from the universe. And it's very interesting because I've always, some of my clients and friends will recognize this when I say this, but I've always said that the money that comes from my business is always extra abundance. Like I look at it as extra abundance from the universe. That's how I've always referred to it. That's how I always will, regardless. It's just how I like to receive it. And later that day, I reached out to a different friend of mine who has also been a very dear friend of mine for many years. And I reached out to her to see if she could go for a walk. And she's a single mom, and very rarely does she take time for herself. Very rarely does she take breaks. She's a very beautiful soul. And I reached out to her to see if she wanted to get together, and she couldn't because she was very overwhelmed in the moment. She was taking her children back to school shopping. She never really asks for help. And she's always looking out for other people. So she asked me if I would send her some affirmations because she was so overwhelmed with, trying to provide and do what she needed to do for her children. And I started sending her stuff about not exactly like being strong because I wanted her to remain in her feminine energy, but about like perseverance and how she's a shining light and all the good things that she does for other people. And she sent me an affirmation back about abundance, which I thought was really interesting because of the situation that happened earlier. But I also realized that she was looking to be reassured that this abundance was going to come back to her. or that it was going to be okay, that the universe was going to have her back. And so I started sending affirmations about abundance. And then it dawned on me that like the abundance that I had received earlier was not meant for me. It was meant to be paid forward. So I sent her that of extra abundance that I had received from the universe. And although I know it wasn't going to cover everything that she needed by any means, I knew it would just really be like an unexpected form of abundance from the universe that made me feel so good to do something for somebody that has really done a lot for me in my life. A lot. So she like me did not want to receive, but did graciously receive, because she also is trying to practice receiving abundance and receiving love. And it reminded me totally of how I had responded earlier, and it really felt like it had went full circle. And I went to bed feeling so good about that ripple that I put out into the world, that that passing it along, the paying it forward. And the next morning, I only had one session scheduled yesterday, and I had like 5 people reach out to me that day to schedule sessions. And immediately I was like, this is the universe paying it back to me, right? It was the universe reminding me that the universe has my back, and what we put out always comes back to us. And so I texted her this. I texted her to tell her, and I was like, see, the universe always has my back. Like, I never have to worry about anything. And she thanked me again and told me that she loved me, and I told her that I loved her too. And that one session that I had that day, yesterday, I actually had 2, but the one that was already scheduled, when she came, it was a very emotional, very powerful session. And afterwards, she asked if she could add on an infrared sauna session to detox. And of course, I said yes. And then afterwards, she wanted to treat herself to some products and to some jewelry. And just that one client alone not only brought back what I had sent out, but it doubled it. And I want this to come across as very humble and gracious, and not as ego or bragging. But I've always said, like, what you put out comes back threefold. And yesterday I was just really reminded of that. And there's so much going on in the world right now that there's so many people in fear and destruction and chaos, that I just wanted to remind you guys that it's up to us to hold the line. Like, this is a spiritual war. This is a, what are we doing? What are we putting out? What is that ripple effect that we're doing? And it really is about the feelings. Like, I felt so good about what I did, and without even expecting anything back. And I was reminded how it all comes back. And not just what you put out comes back, but it comes back threefold. And that goes for good or for bad. And I want you guys to hold that space for those who really need it, but put action to it, put feeling to it, because that's what's really important. I am sending so much love to everybody that I know, and all of my clients all over the world, and to each and every one of you. So this weekend, I would like you to hold space for those who need it, and put action, and maybe do something that just puts out for someone who really needs it at this time. All right? Lots of love.